What's up YouTube, it's your boy El Gallo Negro. We're going to be doing another video on tapers. It is a very popular haircut that I get. I usually post all my haircuts that I film. And like I said, the most popular haircut that I get are tapers. So here we're not really going to be debulking anything since he does want to keep the length he has already. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the trimmer. We are going to be doing mid tapers to the length that he has. I want to say it was like a 3.5 on the sides. So you don't want to make your guidelines too big, just so you can keep it dark. So here I went ahead and did it with the shavers. Make sure you ball them out. There is a slight difference in comparison from just using the trimmer and the shaver. Always make sure to use the shaver just so it could pop a little more. This is a regular client. He usually does high tapers in the back, but today he requested a design, so I am going to keep it a tad bit lower back here just so I can fit that design in the dark area. Alright, so I did get in the zone. I did forget to use the shavers on this step, but I for sure used them towards the end. So now that we're going to go on the other side, you want to make sure that you're making the guidelines at the same level, just so one taper isn't higher than the other. One way to check that is going to the front of the person, making him look side to side. Always double checking your work. Always be sure that you don't apply too much pressure on the neck area, since these trimmers are very sharp. The ideal way for you to get a crispy line around the ear, you want to use your corners. Using the corners is probably the best way to go around the ear. Once again, you have to be very careful that these trimmers are sharp. I kind of do bounce around on steps, but I always make sure to do them. It's just the way that I work. Everybody works very differently, and this just works for me. So the back tapers are the easiest for me. We're going to get this started by using the lever open, equaling to the number 1. Not making my guidelines too big. Once again, we do want to keep this dark. If you've seen my videos before, I always explain my steps. What we're going to do here is close the lever midway. Go about midway of that guideline. After that, you want to close it and then go to the bottom of the guideline. Just messing around with this lever until you feel like that guideline has been gone. You want to make sure the transition is smooth, just so this haircut looks its finest. Okay, right before I get to my next step, I do want to sidetrack a little bit. Look at the top of this haircut. It is very bulky. That's how he came in. He cheated on the barber. You know you should never do that. You should never do that. That's why this happened. So alright, so for my next step, I will be using the half guard equaling to the 1.5. I'm not gonna make my guideline as big as I did the first one. I will be very repetitive throughout all my videos. Anybody that wants to learn, I am going to make sure you learn something from me. So we did start with the lever open, just like the first step. Open, you go to the top. Midway, you go midway. Closed, you go to the bottom. Always try to use a flick out motion. That will make everything a lot easier. This is not the same step anymore. We are on to the lever open using the number 1 guard. Same process, just with the number 1 guard. We're going up, just right up to that bone. You could kind of see it there since it is a darker shade right in the middle. You don't want to go past that. Alright, since our last step does go to a number 2, since the number 1 guard open equals a number 2, this is the number 2 guard. We're going to go a little above that bone I was telling you about. Be gentle with it. I'm not sure if it hurts. It feels like it hurts. We're not going to touch the top yet. I will be using my finishers just to lighten up those dark spots. At this point, I hadn't asked him yet what we were going to do with the top. I wanted to fix it, but I wasn't going to touch it until he gave the okay. The reason for not asking him is because he walked in there telling me he wanted that length. I didn't want to ask him. I was in the zone. I was doing my work. I was just vibing. Alright, so we are on to the right side of the tapers. We're going to be using the lever open, not making these guidelines too big. As you can see, I went almost above the ear, keeping it a little lower than that. Using the same process as always. Open to close, you know the rest. Quick little fun fact, he is also a barber. The guy sitting in the chair is a barber, so I was giving him some tips on how I do things and how he could do his own tapers, since that is what he wants to do. He wants to get more practice in, so just giving out some tips. Going back to this tutorial, we will be using the number 1 guard up next. We don't want to go too high. I do believe it is the 3.5. So 1 opens to a number 2. You don't want to go all the way. You want to keep that little bulk there. I will be using finishers, and I will be going over it with a high number towards the end. Number 3 open. I wanted to include what we were talking about, but I really couldn't since the music was pretty loud in the background. It is truly a blessing to be helping out beginner barbers. Anybody who wants to learn, I am very open to. Everything is on my page on how to get in touch with me. If you really are interested in learning, just shoot me a text. Don't be afraid. Alright, I know we both see that light line we have there. You just want to use your finishers. You don't want to dig too much into it. Make sure you use your finishers to your advantage. They are a big help. All they do is cut in between every other hair, leaving you with a smooth blend. Alright, so now that I went in depth into the most important parts, not that this part isn't important, but I will be speeding it up. We are going to be repeating the same steps we did on the other side. You want to make sure you make your guidelines the same width. That way, once again, your tapers don't look higher than the other. You want to make sure you keep the same consistency. Alright, so right about here, I did ask him what he wanted to do towards the back. As you can see, after I finish up those tapers, that back area does look very dark. Kind of throws the whole haircut off. So I will be trimming it, blending it in so it can look a lot better. So I am barely now realizing that I didn't catch me debulking that after all. My camera must have stopped, or I must have stopped it. I don't know exactly what happened, but I got it done. As you can see, it looks a lot better. We are getting into this design real quick. I'm not going to be showing the whole thing. I am just going to be showing you how I started it and then how the final product looks. So it looks like I missed out on telling you what design it is. It is going to be a letter J. Alright, so this is our final product. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like button. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you in my next video.